affecting a rather important battle. And I thought it was interesting that we have the connection here in Prescott. Imagine going all the way down there and having one balloon to make it happen, right? That's kind of a weird concept. All right, early days of flight. Those are examples there. It's actually a picture of the balloon, bottom of page 15. The Army balloon during the battle. That's pretty cool. The developments in the lighter-than-air flight and the balloons went all the way back from Da Vinci to the Light Brothers. The balloons were used in the Civil War. And what was the bottom line with your story? How did the balloonist change the course of the battle? What happened? Yes, sir.
They gave new positions for their artillery and made it so they gave information for the American soldiers.
Yeah, you're above the treetops, and you're looking out. I think the specifics, as I read in one history book, there was actually a road, and Teddy Roosevelt could see that the bad guys, the Spanish, were using a road, and they went and actually concentrated the fire on the road. But they didn't know that because you're looking. I mean, it's very populated, very tropical, and probably had no way of knowing it. Here's the different types of glider design. Glider designs on the right. You can see they're actually trying to fly and flap still. On the left, had a balloon with hot air. It goes up. Does anybody know where the largest balloon festival in the world is held? No, not Phoenix. Close though, something like that. Where? Albuquerque, New Mexico. Every spring break, every fall break of ours in October, I mean, hundreds of balloons go to Albuquerque, and it's pretty interesting. How do you guide a balloon? When you're up there flying a balloon, do you go, I want to go right, here I use my stick and go right? How do you do it? You can go up and down. Well, do you take off a balloon and it just sit there forever and come straight back down? Or how do you guide a balloon? How do you fly? How do you direct a balloon?
Hot air.
A hot air? Hot air makes it go left and right?
A hot air engine.
Hot air makes it go left and right. No. Yes, sir.
By riding air currents.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, exactly. Your balloon can go up and down because of the hot air, but you try to find the current that makes you go the way you want it to go. So it is the least maneuverable. I have a 1,000-foot blimp, okay? Big Zeppelin. And I have a dinky little balloon like these right here. These are not small, but I have a balloon. In the rules of aviation, who has the right of way? Yes, sir. The balloon, the least maneuverable. Even though you have a 1,000-foot Zeppelin, it's going to have motors, and it has a rudder, and you can move. A balloon, you don't know where it's going, okay? It is absolutely the wind currents that make it happen. Back then, being a balloonist was like going to the moon, an astronaut. And they absolutely thought it was revolutionary that you could get above 6 feet and see something from on high. So it was kind of crazy when people invented this in Europe, not in America, and they actually started doing these things. Back there on the bottom of page 17, you actually have a picture of the Montgolfier, French pronunciation, Montgolfier experiments. And they literally talk about how it started out of a bag of silt in front of the fire. And he noticed that hot air rose more than cold air. And he actually went and demonstrated this for the kings and the queens. First manned flight, 1783, over 150 years. Well, what was happening in the 1780s also that we just talked about? Discovered a principal flight. We just went over it. Bernoulli was about the 1780s, okay? So he was thinking about this stuff, didn't realize that fluids would be treated the same way as air currents, but it did. So there's a lot of explosion of interest at the times. The balloons and lift, they had experiment with hydrogen. Is hydrogen a good thing to do to fly balloons with?
No.
Why?
Didn't they do that like the big one?
Big boom. It's flammable. Helium, hydrogen, you know, it's got more lift than hot air. But, you know, a lot of times it can be flammable.
Wasn't there like a blimp that they tried that with when they burnt out?
Yes, actually that's a good one. Why don't we show you this here? Has anybody ever heard of the, well, here I love Zeppelin pictures, images. Boy, are those things pretty cool looking? Look at this. I mean, 1,000 feet long. You see how big that boat is, and it's still not that big. They have huge Zeppelin hangars. They actually have 2 of them still in America. These hangars, you'll see how these hangars are huge, 1,000 feet long, that actually put these huge things inside of them. Okay, and they'd actually come and dock. This is actually in look, Switzerland. You could actually maneuver these things. The theory was they would fly across the ocean. It would be a cruise ship in the air. These are the 1930s. Okay, this is early aviation, 1920s. And they actually did go across the ocean, Atlantic. The Germans did prior to World War II, using these Zeppelins. Of course, the problem was this one right here. Okay, there was static electricity. There's controversy about why it happened, but yes, they had a huge explosion and wiped them out in front of everybody. A lot of media, and they had has anybody ever heard of the Empire State Building? Okay. It was never done, but there was a plan to have the Empire State Building be a Zeppelin port. Okay? So you fly your Zeppelin from Europe and attach it right here and you deplane everybody. Downtown New York City, 1930s.
That'd be so cool.
That would be so cool. No, don't have to worry about, do you have to worry about a cab to go to the airport? Nope. They actually have some pictures of it. I've seen it. There we go. Is that a crazy picture?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I am doing for soccer.
Okay, sounds good. See you. So anyway, with these ideas of balloons came a lot of dreams, but then the bottom line was hydrogen is very risky because it's flammable, and people died basically. Many people were killed. Benjamin Franklin, American, who spoke French, went to our ambassador to France, went over there right after our Revolutionary War and saw this. He got it. He started to believe that in the 1780s we should use balloons for our armies. And over here we didn't believe in this much. But I think about 100 years prior to the Civil War, they're saying that we should be using balloons. Dirigible. What's a dirigible? Get it over to it. What's a dirigible?
A steerable airship.
Steerable. I mean, it's not a balloon that's just going to float around. It's what I just showed you. A Zeppelin is a dirigible. Okay? It means that it's got some propulsion and you can actually control it. Okay? You have a rudder. Yes, sir.
It was a little bit late, but if a Zeppelin got shot in war, what would happen? Like, just one shot would take it down?
1,000 feet long? No. Does one bullet sink an aircraft carrier? No. But a lot of them would. A matter of fact, who is a famous Arizona guy who got the Medal of Honor? It was quite famous for balloon busting in World War I. There's actually 2 people that you could answer that to. What Medal of Honor? Who got a Medal of Honor from Arizona who was called the Arizona Balloon Buster?
They named the Prescott Air Show.
You're getting there. Actually, that's Ernest P. Love, who was from Prescott, and he did die in World War I, and he did shoot down a balloon. But I'm really thinking about is a guy named Frank Luke, at Luke Air Force Base from Phoenix, and he was called the Balloon Buster. And I don't know his numbers. I think in like 43 days he shot down 16 balloons or something ridiculous. But he was by himself. He's a young guy, no married, no cares, you know, lived on the edge. And do you think these balloons are very well protected?
Yes.
They had a gazillion guns up there shooting anybody come near your balloon because they needed the balloons. Here's the question. Where does the Army get the term Signal Corps? Where does the Signal Corps come from?
People doing signals?
Ding, 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 ding. Gee, people doing signals. I'm up in the balloon. Shoot left. Is that what they did? No. You had flags just like you did in the Navy to communicate from ship to ship. You had signal, and it's pretty important, man. You got to make sure you say shoot left versus shoot right, or you kill your own people. Okay. So actually, all this developed with the balloons, and again, there were some big heroes in World War I for shooting down balloons. It's not just one shot. There's multiple, right? And everybody was shooting at you while you're shooting at the balloons. You can imagine, it's pretty miserable. There we go, dirigible. There's your picture. Maneuverable. They had propellers. And look, move through the air as fast as ships move through the water. So again, the concept, they had these huge dirigibles going across the Atlantic. Perfect. It'd be a great deal. Real easy. And it did. It happened. People did this. 100 years later, cigar-shaped dirigible, 5 miles an hour. Didn't have to worry about waves, other ships. No one's up there.
3 horsepower.
Even now, they have a rigid aircraft or a non-rigid aircraft. What about the blimps that are at the Super Bowl and the football games? What are they? What are they called? Those are, some of them are rigid, generally the non-rigid blimps, and they're airships. You have to get a special license to fly an airship, just like you have a special license to fly a balloon. I'm an air transport pilot. I'm the most advanced pilot you can be as far as a fixed wing. I'm a multi-engine instructor. I'm a certified flight instructor. I'm an instrument instructor. But I cannot touch a balloon or an airship without training like that. Okay. Internal combustion engine. They actually took an engine off of a car or a machine, stuck it up in the air so that it actually worked. First dirigible, 82 feet long, 1,300 feet. Can you imagine how crazy it was to fly up there and actually see the earth for the first time? It's just like jumping in the water, like I said, and actually seeing the fish for the first time. Pilot steered it with a rudder. Push left, push right, go right. And a really very famous thing, in 1901, prior to the Wright brothers, he flew an airship around the Eiffel Tower. The French, God bless them, were very, very influential in development of aeronautics. It's just that honestly they didn't quite get the Bernoulli's equation and how it worked with the curvature of the wings prior to the Wright brothers.
For some reason I heard that, I don't know from where, but I heard that the Wright brothers weren't the first ones to fly planes. It was someone that was a French person.
There is controversy there. If I was French, I would be arguing about it. The Wright brothers, did the Wright brothers have wheels on their planes taking off in the sand of Kitty Hawk?
No.
How did they, what was underneath it? How did they take off?
Skid plate.
A what?
Like a little skid plate.
Yeah, a rail, they call it. A rail. And actually, one of the videos that I recorded for you guys to see in a week actually has a pretty cool picture of the Wright brothers taking off. They had the Wright brothers coming off a skid plate, but they had a launcher, a big tower with a weight. And they zinged it, and the Wright brothers plane would go zinging off. The French, after the Wright brothers, had a plane that took off with true wheels, and there's controversy. What is flight? You know, how far did it go? So in the dunes of Kitty Hawk, these are big dunes. I mean, they're 200 and 300 feet high. Okay, way higher than our light poles out there. You can't have there's no way you could have wheels. And so the argument that the French have is that on a flat piece of land with wheels, with propulsion, we took off first. And that probably is true. But our argument is that years prior, not too long, I don't know, that would be a good research project, I don't know exactly. We had a skid plate and we executed a flight with controllable aircraft prior than they did. So there's an argument there. All right, this is Zeppelin. This is what we just looked at. Luxurious, the wealthiest people, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates flew across at 40 miles an hour, not 5 miles an hour in a boat. And they were absolutely luxurious airliners instead of a cruise liner. It was pretty incredible. Aeronauts. They didn't come up with the word pilots yet. They were aeronauts. They traveled in airships and balloons. Very famous ones. The Union Army General, Winfield Scott, Lincoln appointed him, completely blew off the idea of balloons. Why do I need a balloon? That's stupid. We believe in horses and men. We will send 10,000 men to go out there and get killed. They'll figure out how to do it when they get there.